2, 3. What up, guys? Jason Garman here with PressureWashHelp.com. Holy crap, we got a whole bunch of people that has already been on here waiting for us. But again, I am here with Benjamin tonight, and he is literally a scientist. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a scientist of School of Hard Knocks. But we have, he's actually in the same area that I grew my business to $1 million. He's actually in the same area. And so a lot of people always ask, is there enough money for me? Is there enough business in there for me? What about my competition? Well, this kind of proves that, Pressure Wash Cincinnati did $1 million last year, and if he's on key this year, he's going to do about half that this year. So, with that being said, Ben, tell me who you are, where you're from, kind of, and what you do and everything.
All right, I'm Ben. I own Power Pro Washing. I started my business in 2016, and I'm here in Jason's old turf of Florence, Kentucky, Boone County. And that's about it, really.
So what got you started doing pressure washing and cleaning?
I started out, I always wanted to do something on my own. I always had that dream of starting my own business. And I was just driving around the neighborhoods, and I knew that I had a background in science, and I knew what was growing on the sides of houses and roofs. And I checked into it, started studying a little bit, and I just started off as hard as I could go.
Awesome. I'm a little loud, so I'm going to adjust me down. What did you actually go to school for? You went to college for something. What did you go to school for, and what did you learn there?
Yeah, I started off, I played basketball at Morehead State in 1998. Set the bench. I didn't really play. I was going to school to be a science teacher then. And then I transferred to EKU, and I started off going for wildlife management. And then I switched to a biology major, and I ended up getting my bachelor's of science from there.
Awesome. So you said you did your thesis when I was talking to you. What did you do your thesis on?
The stuff that grows on buildings, the bacteria, the algae, and a thesis it was a year-long study. So I actually looked at all the organic growth under microscopes, all the algae, the cyanobacteria, and all the different things that actually grow on the building.
What did you learn about that? What all grows on the building?
Oh, that's the cool part. The roof, it's a cyanobacteria. It is the only bacteria in the world that coats itself in the sunscreen, which is pretty cool.
Do what now? Say that again.
The roof, a lot of people call it roof algae, but it's a cyanobacteria.
Yeah.
So the black streaks, it is the only bacteria in the world that can coat itself in a natural sunscreen.
That's what the black stuff is, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And so what? So why does it do that for? Why does it coat itself? Just so if it would kill itself out, or what?
It likes to grow in it likes to grow in sun. It's always on the north side, yeah, but it's just a natural defense. That way it can live out in direct or indirect sunlight too.
Gotcha. What about how big did you grow your business last year?
Last year we did about 237,000 total. That's not how much I made.
Right.
This year we're on pace to do way over that. This year will be year 5.
Gotcha. I don't know why I'm getting feedback, but I don't know if everybody can hear that or not. So I got a new mic. Everybody had been complaining about my mic. Now I was low. Now I'm hot, and I'm trying to turn myself down here. And so I've been working on that right here. So if you all keep letting me know, I've been adjusting here the whole time. So I've had a bunch of people complain saying, "Jason, your mic is crap." And it was crap. It was a $20 Amazon mic. And so now today I went to the store since the coronavirus is let open a little bit, I was able to actually find one. But I didn't realize how hard it was going to be to find a mic because everybody's been working from home. So they went and bought every one of them out. So I had to go to 3 different stores to get it. But I finally got a mic. It was a little bit more than I wanted to pay, but I knew I had this tonight. So I was like, you know what? We're going to go get it. So it's not too bad, Jason. Okay. So I got that back. So, what? So you did. So you're going to go 2 times louder than the guest. Well, I'm working on that, guys.
I'm sorry. I'm a little soft spoken. I'll try to speak up
No,
too.
you're fine. You're fine. I'm gonna back me down here also. So what? What did you? So you said you did 250,000 last year. Do you do mostly residential or commercial, or how do you do your business mostly?
It's mostly all residential. We do very few big jobs for commercial. I definitely would like to maybe tap into the commercial more, but yeah, it's mostly all residential.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. I know one thing I know one thing we had talked about when we was out to breakfast or lunch the
Yeah.
one day is what about surfactant? Do we need
Oh,
surfactant? What does surfactant do, and how
yeah.
does surfactant work?
Oh, I'm so glad you brought this up. It absolutely kills me when I see all these groups. Probably 70 to 80% of the time, I don't even use surfactant at all.
What? You don't use surfactant? I thought you
I
had to use surfactant.
No, I like if it's not horribly bad, if the algae's not super thick, like I literally hardly ever use surfactant. Now siding, that now roofs, it helps it. It's not what here's what a surfactant is. A surfactant's job is to coat the dirt in a bubble so it can rinse off. It's all about rinsing off easier. So you don't like I cleaned so many houses and I don't even use it.
Right,
It does it. What a lot of people do is they'll use it to make it stay longer,
right.
but it's a soap. You don't really need it unless you want to have something set up there longer. But it would make more sense to me if somebody had like um, a powder to make your mix thicker or something like that. But it kills me when I see all the surfactant and
The only thing I like about a surfactant is one reason is just more so the part of um, somebody put what about windows with surfactant. But the one thing that I like the surfactant more of is the smell part
oh
factor of it
yeah,
is to kill
yeah,
that
and that
smell factor.
that yeah now that is something that it'll help with the smell, and especially if you got a client walking around with you, they always freak out if they smell chlorine or bleach. And but yeah, that's if a surfactant, it literally it's not completely important.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Just killed all you fellas selling surfactants now. Somebody. Oh, somebody wrote.
I,
What about Dawn? Can we just use Dawn?
Absolutely, yeah. If you want something to smell good, Dawn actually helps. And a lot of people say that you don't want to mix it because it'll create the gas or whatever. With my experience, I've used Dawn all the time, um, and I've never had any issues with the gas. It would take so much Dawn to create enough gas to do anything.
Right. Um, what? What? So tell me more about what's on the roof because that's pretty interesting. What else is there? Key factors of the stuff on the roof.
Well, what happened is back in the early '90s that we had a bunch of hurricanes in Florida, and what had happened is in the hurricane it started blowing off the shingles. So all these big these companies that make the shingle, they used to have cotton fillers. And what they realized after the hurricanes in the '90s, with cotton fillers, it was too light. So they would blow off really easy. So they switched everything to a limestone filler. And the bacteria, it feeds off the limestone. So back back years ago, you didn't really see the bacteria growing on the shingles as much as you do now
Right.
because they had cotton fillers.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, what is and this is true with the roof. It does help control the runoff. A surfactant will, or
Yeah.
like you were saying, a thickener or something like that. It will definitely help keep it from running off the roof, and that is 100% true. So
Oh yeah. Now on roofs, I always use a surfactant. On roofs, on siding, I hardly ever use a surfactant.
gotcha. Um, so what 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 grows on the or what about gutter cleaning? You had some interesting facts about gutter cleaning that I liked, and after that I
Uh,
paid attention to it, and it has been true. So, what about
yeah.
gutter cleaning?
With the gutters.
What grows on there? What are the black streaks? When do black streaks going to happen? When do they not happen on there?
Okay, on it well it really all depends on the gutter. You can have a bunch of different things going on. It could be the growth that's organic, which all you gotta do is spray that with SH and it'll come off. But what a lot of times people struggle with is the black streaks, or it looks like a zebra streaks.
Right.
And what that is called electrostatic staining. And that's from like just the dirt and the grime and all the debris setting on the top of the gutter. And then when it rolls down with the water, it creates a positive electric charge, and that dirt just sticks in. So if you look at it, you can see streaks. That's from the little beads of water running down.
Gotcha. And what's the best way to clean them off? Or will bleach get the other stuff off? Or I know I've
Well,
used F13, that kind of stuff to get it off. But why do we need to use that chemical to actually get that off? Are we actually like removing a layer of the paint, or what's the actual chemical reaction of it?
it definitely, if you use the wrong stuff and let it set too long, it can like a lot of people use
LA
LH.
Awesome.
That is notorious for taking the paint off.
You make it nice and shiny. It'll look like this when you're all done, nice and shiny.
Yeah, I mean, I experimented with it, and I took some paint off a gutter a couple times. I can admit, but it's just too strong, and it I definitely don't like telling the client, "Hey, your paint just came off your gutter."
No, that's never a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a whoopsie. Go. I used to have a can of white spray paint in my truck just for that. So
That's a good idea. Thank you.
get some gloss paint or whatever is going to match most white gutters, because most of your white gutters are all going to be the same. And I've
Oh,
sprayed it on there before. And he put LA Awesome after 30 seconds worked great. But the biggest thing with any of these, if you leave this stuff set, I know F13, if you leave it set too long, you can really screw up some gutters. And so that can be a major thing. One thing you had told me, though, is if the gutter has like circles underneath the bottom of them, usually
yeah.
it's going to come clean with just a regular old house wash mix. Why is that? What is that stuff, and why is that? Because why does that happen?
That's another good point. If I'm walking around the house with the client and I look up to their and I see their gutters and I see the little black circles, that's it's a bacteria too. Really close to, it's not the same, but it's super close to what grows on the roof, and it's very obvious. Now, if you see one that looks like it's faded or airbrushed, that's the electrostatic staining.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, if it's the little circles, you hit that with SH and you're good to go.
So Southeast Soft Wash, Mr. Cody put, and we done talked about this before we came on, and thanks for the super chat. He put, Bill Nye ain't a scientist. Hashtag change my mind. And we was talking about that. Greg or Benjamin, he also is like, he's an atheist. And I'm like,
Oh
I
yeah.
know. So
I don't really like Bill Nye, Science Guy, but it's all right.
I was trying to find something to come up with you and with the scientists, and my wife and I were like, Bill Nye Science Guy, and then I went to look, and there you go, and he looked just like you, especially. Benjamin on his Facebook page got was in a wedding, or I don't know, had the little red bow tie on and the whole 9 yards, and I'm like, yep, he looks like him. So he's getting on there now. So, but
I couldn't believe you did that.
um,
I liked it though. It was good.
I've been working with some thumbnails. Then this next week, y'all need to watch for some videos coming out. I actually got a video coming out every day this week, and some of the thumbnails will probably make you crack up and laugh. So I did some, and I'm gonna have it at my own self. So. But what? So tell me what tell me what has helped you grow your business the most. What has been the best success for you for growing your business?
I well, it's kind of got like a couple different phases. The best thing is just do what you say you're going to do and show up on time. And like say if you're supposed to clean a gutter, and you get up there and it has nothing in it, like don't charge them if you didn't clean it. Like things like that. That's helped. But also posting on Facebook and LinkedIn. That's been this past year. That has helped me make the biggest jump. Is doing the post on Facebook and LinkedIn.
And Aaron Yeager, he's been talking you up a bunch. So I don't know if you know him or not, but he also gave us a super chat. He said Ben is awesome. So
Well,
Ben.
thanks, man.
And Ben really likes to talk in front of people. You can tell that he's not nervous at all right now. But he does one thing really well, and this is something that I would really highly suggest you do. And I want to talk a little bit about making the small videos for Facebook, and I know you do it for LinkedIn too. But tell me what's your thought behind the small Facebook, and what and why and how you've been able to grow your business by just doing a small video, and how often you kind of do it and stuff.
Yeah, the way I look at it, it's called instead of hunting for leads, like putting up a Facebook post saying, "Hey, I'm going to give you this discount," or if you book today, you get $50. Like that's something that I don't do. I never do that.
No.
So what I do is I just post what we do, some before and afters, and hopefully the same people will see it over and over. And then when it comes time that they want to do it, then they're going to call me.
And how often are you doing it per week?
I try to make 3 posts per week on Facebook.
So you're doing it 3 times a week, and so you're consistently doing it. This isn't something that you were doing one time one week, and then you're like, oh man, I don't know if I can do it this week. This is something that you're doing every week, week after week, 3 times a week, correct?
Absolutely. Like, yeah, I think that's a really important part is you have to be consistent.
And then how are you posting them out? Are you just putting them on your personal page? You putting them on your business page? You putting them out in groups? How are you doing them?
Well, I actually do. Most of the time I'll put it out in the business page. And then if it's a really good one, I'll blast it off to the groups. But here's the thing, you don't want to post every day to every group in your area, or people's going to get pissed and they're going to block you. They're going to take it down.
You'll go to Facebook jail if you're not careful.
Yeah, absolutely. You will. So with the groups, I might do it. I might post on there once a week. And but when I do that, it's only a very select few of the groups at a time.
Yep.
Because if you're a member of these groups and you blast it to every group, they're going to see that post like 4 or 5 times in a row, and they're going to get tired of it.
They will, and they will block you. And I notice you too. You will also help in those groups too. You just don't only post your stuff. You'll actually respond to some people and let them know. You'll actually talk to other people too. So that's a good thing. So.
Oh yeah, if you can make comments and be nice and just be helpful, then what they'll do is they'll check, say, who's this guy commenting, and they'll check in and they'll see you own a business. I mean, it's just about doing the right thing and helping people.
Yep. What about LinkedIn? How have you grown your business through LinkedIn?
LinkedIn is kind of like right now it's like my secret weapon because it's free too. And I usually post the same thing on LinkedIn that I post on Facebook.
But wait, you get business on LinkedIn?
I've actually made a lot of money on LinkedIn this year.
I know there's LinkedIn is a money hole is definitely a honey hole for people. And the problem with a lot of people, they don't know how to deal. They don't know what they're doing and doing that. Is this something that we just want to spam people?
No, I don't really spam. Like I just post pretty much like I do on Facebook. On LinkedIn, I at least try to do have the 3 posts a week too. But a big key with LinkedIn that helped me is last year something I would go and I would just ask people to connect, and I would hit connect. It's got a button on it that you can connect.
Right.
And I searched people in my area. Now I got a LinkedIn following of like 5,200 people or something like that.
So you worked it pretty hard. Did you try to get mostly property managers and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when I first started, I that's why I typed it in the search property manager. I invited every single one of them in my area, and eventually I didn't have any more people to invite, so I just moved to the area itself.
Right.
And LinkedIn has been terrific for me.
And LinkedIn is a great resource. A lot of people don't realize LinkedIn is such a good thing. So, with that being said, how much money are you spending in marketing to grow your business to $500,000?
I I boosted one Facebook post this first of the year, and I've not spent any money on AdWords. Well, I take it back. There's as far as yard signs, I did buy some yard signs, but literally, like all of my business is referrals and through Facebook.
And this isn't something that Benjamin, this isn't just a word of mouth business at this point. You have put your time in putting 3 posts a week out in on these Facebook groups, three
Yeah,
posts a week in LinkedIn. This is something that takes time. It's not just something that happens overnight. You got to make sure you're taking the before and after pictures. You got to make sure that you can put it together and make it look halfway decent. You have to do things so that way when the time comes, people will come, and like you said, last year you spent a lot of time in LinkedIn of making sure, getting people to respond back to you and letting them know. And this is things that you have to do. People always want to know, well, why can't my business grow so fast? Well, you got to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, it's not going to happen. And like I always say, there's 2 ways to get traffic. There's 2 ways to get customers. One, you do the work, just like Benjamin has done. Another person that has grown his business big is Rob Anderson. He basically is doing the same thing through Facebook and posting on his personal page and posting in the groups and on the business page. Or the second way is open your wallet and pay somebody to pay to the games of, trying to get number one on the site and trying to do all that kind of stuff. So, Benjamin is no, I know you got a website. I didn't see how it ranked, a lot of places, but it probably
it's not.
don't. I know it don't rank number one in Pressure Washing in Cincinnati because Pressure Wash Cincinnati does. So,
It's not number one. It could use a lot of work, but I really don't. Honestly, I don't have time, and I'm afraid to grow too big too fast. I kind of want it all to happen naturally.
right. And so how many crews do you have? How many crews do you have being only having, going to do, 250,000 last year and 400,000 this year, 500,000?
Well, right now it's just me and my wife. She's the one who answers the phone, does all the scheduling. So that move right there, I could see a huge improvement just by having her answer the phone.
Right, right.
Like that was huge.
And,
And then
and and to be honest, a female answering the phone is really a good thing for a pressure washing business. And here's why a female is good to answer the phone. In our business, most of the time it's the female calling us. And so with the female calling us, and a male being on the other side of the phone, a lot of times that's going to cause that, dominance, and the female ain't going to want to buy as quick or as easy, where that female to female will actually help that. And I know I got Be Clean here, take that as an advantage, use that as your advantage, so that is something for sure that, when you have that female, that will definitely help you answer. Now, I understand there's sometimes you can't have that happen and you can't have that happen. But, I know you've said it. One of Benjamin's competitors is up on the north side of Cincinnati, and his wife answers the phone, and he said the same thing. They close way more jobs by her closing versus than him closing. And so I think that can be something that, if you are a husband and wife thing, this is something that you might look at doing, making sure. And people think, well, you don't know what you're talking about. It's not rocket science. You can basically put it whatever, that whole, you can basically set a thing of how much your jobs are, and this is how much. So how busy are you? Are you just booked out just this week, or are you booked out for the whole month of June?
I am currently scheduled out. It's right at 52 jobs.
52 jobs. And Donovan, he's a great guy. He said the same thing. Howdy, Jason. I agree with having ladies in the office. Best move I ever made. So, this is something that, people don't always realize that female in that office can make a whole lot of difference on answering that phone. So you're booked out 52 weeks. I know you had talked to me about losing jobs because you had underbid lower, or not really losing, but you were losing bigger jobs because you were so far booked out, to cheaper jobs. Have you tried to fix that or raise your prices?
Yeah, actually, I did. I stopped doing like if it's not $240, I'm not going. That's kind of like my minimum.
Right.
And what was going on is I would have a $700 house wash call wanting to schedule, but I was doing a $300 house wash in that spot. So I was getting upset. It's like, what? Why is this going on? Like, it got really frustrating.
Right. Right. And that sucks.
Yeah, I was kind of upset about
You
it.
want to tell them that, hey, take that other job and do that. So,
Yeah. Mhm.
um, do what? Sorry about the caps. I'm a disabled vet, and in some groups they let me do that, but here I don't want to piss people off. You're fine, dude. You're fine. Um, so you're booked out 52 jobs, and you're still posting, right? You didn't quit
Yeah.
posting, right? That's
No, I this past week I haven't posted because I just bought a new camera. I'm trying to up my game on the quality and all that.
what
So this
camera
week
did you buy?
it's called a Canon M50.
What was you using before?
My phone.
Your phone?
Hmm.
Yeah, I've been looking at the GoPro 8s, and I don't know what I'm gonna get. I've been looking at those. I haven't know what the best way to go. So
Oh yeah, yeah. That's I mean that's something we use too is the GoPro. Yeah.
um,
Oh, it's great. I like it.
the GoPro, you use the GoPro 8 or the 7?
It's a 7 black is what I have now.
Okay, okay. Um, Tell me a little bit about some whiskey fungus. I know you did a big job. That was some amazing things. How do
Yeah,
we clean it? What's anything special about it? Where does it grow
that's
at?
yeah, that is some really hardy fungus. It and you know, but it's completely black. Like the job I did was it was for a water treatment plant. It had a white roof and it was white water tanks, and it looked like it was supposed to be black, but it was covered in the whiskey fungus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have a Facebook, or you don't have a YouTube channel, do you?
Uh, Not really. If you search my name, it's got a YouTube channel for my name. But as far as the business, I haven't made that yet. But it's in the works.
You need to. That's something that if I was you, I would start posting those videos that you post and upload them there, and just make just be like whatever, and then just kind of post them to where kind of how you do the same thing of hey location and name it the location and that kind of stuff, so that way people can get found that way. So, um, I sub Ben, so you might get some subs here from it. Do you use Nextdoor? Have you ever used Nextdoor?
Next door, as far as spending money on it, no, I don't use it. But I actually just did a job for a lady that said she searched next door, and she said there was like 6 people responded about Power Pro washing. She said it was just comment after comment after comment. So I got the job, but as far as like
So you don't
spending
post in
time,
Nextdoor, nothing like that.
uh, very rarely do I post on it.
Yeah. And Nextdoor is something that, I mean, you could probably post the same thing you're posting on
Yeah.
Facebook if you wanted to. And that's the thing about pro power washing is I know for our power pro washing, I know for a fact that you get into some of these Facebook groups and somebody will post, I need pressure washing, and your name will come up a lot, and then so will some of your Patriots. I know he kind of comes up a lot too, but that kind of helps while you're posting in those groups all the time. That all these other people will start tagging you, so then that way you will start coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I know what I was going to ask you. This is something maybe about that, Jason. Will you do a video on wash water management systems? I see a lot of fellas just letting the soap go down the storm drain and hate to see our industrial go down the drain with more regulations. Do you know much about that?
Yes, you do not want bleach going into any like a goldfish pond or it's called a secondary stream. Like if it goes down a gutter into a drainage ditch into a creek, you're good. But if it goes like if you have gutters going into a pond directly, like it's a huge liability. It takes such a small amount of the chlorine and it can kill almost everything in the pond.
Yeah. What about it going down the road? Is that a secondary or mainstream? How do you know what's the difference between a secondary and a main?
Yeah, that's perfectly okay. And if you look up the guidelines for the EPA, that's legal. What's not legal is going into a standard a creek or a pond. Like that's as far as the EPA, you can't put bleach there.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I know. I've never really dealt with that much. I know I had that question in my class the other day, and I know a good friend of mine is Mike Bailey from Bailey's Car Wash, and his son is actually on the board of EPA, and I was actually going to get him on here, and I started asking him questions, and he's like, as long as you're not pouring, like you said, bleach down there, and bleach, trust me, bleach will kill fish like that. It is very toxic to fish and tadpoles. We had some tadpoles that we killed, and we had to go put new tadpoles in the pond because she was tore up because we killed her tadpoles, and so that is something that we definitely got to be careful of and make sure that we don't screw stuff up. So
Yeah, if you see them, then they have a goldfish pond anywhere near the house, you better be extra careful. Like it takes such a small amount,
one
you
drop
know.
will kill them. One drop will kill them.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So one drop will kill all the goldfish, and it's not a good thing to do. It can be it can hurt your business really bad. So it is not something that you want to do. So we talked a little bit about Facebook. We talked a little bit about LinkedIn. What else? Is there anything else you use for marketing, or just signs, or just word of mouth and that kind of stuff?
With my marketing, I think the number one part of the business is your customer interaction. Like if I go to a house, I'm talking to the homeowner if they're there, and I'm making a friend. And I mean, I think that has probably been the most important thing that I did as a business owner. Like each and every customer I go to, I'm sitting there, I'm talking to them about everything but pressure washing. Like I'm saying, hey, this is a nice car. Like I'm trying to build that personal relationship. Because what happens if you make a friend, then if they ever hear somebody looking for pressure washing, that's when they're going to start talking about you.
Right. Right. And that is true. I've heard that even through sales side of things, of you trying to get that talking going, and that way you can actually, you kind of learn what they know, and then you're kind of giving your thing, especially if you are especially if you are, got stuff in common. They got a little kid, you got a little kid, that kind of thing along the way. That does help and go a long way.
Yeah, that's huge, I think. And in my opinion, I think that is the most important part.
This is a good question from Beth. What CRM does Ben use?
I use
How do you keep it? How do you keep track of everything?
It's tough. And that's an area that I need to improve in a little bit. But as far as CRM right now, it's called Market.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. So you're on the cheap method then. So
Yeah. Yeah.
this Yannis asked the question: What's the best way to clean a wooden deck? I've heard it's best to rinse a deck with water than SH. Is that also do you downstream decks or apply a hotter mix?
I do not use a downstream injector at all. But to clean decks, I use a. It depends on what's on it. Like each deck, if it has a lot of the black growth in it, then you need your mix needs to be a little bit hotter. That's the same thing. If you see the black stuff growing, that takes a lot stronger mix than green.
Right,
Does
right.
that make sense?
Yep, 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 yep. Yep. Yes, it does. I hate decks. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I DJ was talking to me the other day, and he's been getting a bunch of decks, and I'm like, I hate decks. Decks suck. So
Yeah, they're not fun, but it's not too bad.
it's one of those things that you think that you think it's going to take you this long, and it usually takes you twice as long because you got to reach over on the other side, and all that stupid stuff. So
Now, if it's a composite deck, that is my favorite thing to clean.
yes, put
I
bleach
love.
on, and let it clean, and let it fly. So you say you don't downstream. What kind of pump do you use?
It's I use a Comet P36.
And do you batch mix it, or do you got a mixer valve type deal on it?
No, I actually batch mix because I like to know exactly what I'm putting on a house. I know that if you have the proportioner, you can dial them in pretty good.
Right, right.
I just don't know if I could trust it. I mean, I'm thinking about giving it a try, but yeah, it's batch. That's all we do.
And so what do you do for a house wash? What percentage do you use to clean a house?
Well, this is a weird question because a lot of people take their percentage differently. Well, with the average house, I'll put 5 gallons of SH, and it makes a 55-gallon drum. So you're looking at 10% of 12.5% SH.
And so what percentage will that end up being then on the house then? 5 gallons versus 55 gallons.
Well, if you do it the way I do it, which is easier, you do a percentage of 12 and a half instead of actually getting the total percent. It's just so much easier. Like that, it would be 10%.
Gotcha. Gotcha. What what shoot, now I don't even know what I'm thinking now.
And that's most of the time on a house, I don't use surfactant. If yeah, that kills me. Like so many people waste a whole lot of money with surfactant.
Yes, they do. Well, I mean, it's what everybody wants
It,
to know,
it helps. Yeah, it does help, I guess, for the smell. And but if people would try it, I don't think they would see a difference.
Right. And William Brown put, I hate decks, but they keep calling me. You know what you do then? You just charge more because that's how they're willing to pay it. Somebody else put, stripping and staining a deck for the first time this weekend. Can't wait. It sucks. And that was the thing with us. We did decks there for a year, about a year and a half. I did, and it was something that I thought was a great idea just to keep us busy. And I was like, this is the stupidest thing ever. And then when I wanted to get out of doing decks, I kept raising my prices. So I was up to $8-9 a square foot, and people were like, okay, okay.
Yeah.
And eventually I was like, no, I don't care how much money you give me. It's not worth my time messing around with these decks. It's a pain in the neck, It's something that it just takes too much time to do it. So
Is that what you're talking about? Stripping a deck?
yeah, stripping and
That's something I won't even do.
yeah, yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep,
won't
yep,
even.
yep. I don't use surfactant either. I know some people don't use surfactant, and that's why I always think it's funny. So I know it's like a big. This is probably a big subject that a lot of people, either love or hate, or And I went without using surfactants. I'm not gonna lie. The main reason why I like using surfactant is more so the part of it smells. It knocks that smell. Now, I am a fan of. I do like Stockmanade, and I do preach it, is because it don't streak the windows. And that's the only thing I really found that really don't streak the windows. I don't know why it don't streak the windows, but a lot of times if you just use bleach, you still get that hard water spots on them windows a lot of times. And sometimes, and a lot of that has to do with some people are taught to do two sides per spray two sides. Well, by the time you get back around, you're done dry, and then that you've done screwed yourself at that point. And so I always teach to do one side at a time, and the reason why I do one side at a time is so that way we're not getting the windows dried and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if it's super hot outside, it's always a good idea to soak the window down and get it cooled off first.
Yep. Yeah, because you figure them windows. I did a training this past weekend. I had 5 guys come here it was in Burlington. It was right next to his house, pretty close to it, and it was actually pretty crazy on the siding of the house. On the same siding, the window had melted the one whole piece there of the siding there. They had the cheap windows in there, and it just melted the whole side. And these are things this is what I was pointing out is we're going to want to take pictures of that to show that we didn't damage it. And
Oh
so
yeah,
that was the importance. And actually, one of the guys in the group, they have a little neighborhood group. His trampoline was out in the backyard, and he was getting on all these kids. Who's melting my trampoline? Who's melting my trampoline? Well, he put a camera back there, and you watch the sun come up, and then you seen the sun hit that glass and reflect in it, and then that reflection would come right on that trampoline, and then you would just start seeing it smoldering, and then it would go away. And it's weird how these windows can damage stuff. And so you got to be paying attention to that. Hey, I did not damage your house. This was damaged before we got here. And so that is something I definitely like.
yeah, that's something good about if you're posting on Facebook all the time. You always get like first thing we do when we go to the house is get the camera out. We take pictures of everything. And then and as soon as we get done, we take pictures for the after. That way we can post it on social media. But then if a client calls and say, "Hey, you did this," then I always have the backup pictures to look at.
Right. And I agree on that 100%. I don't know what this is, but maybe you might. Considering protecting plant life, what are your thoughts on rinsing with sodium thisulf or THIO sulfate for lowering the SH strength or gypsum for the salt for the SALINITY?
So sodium thistolate,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it,
I'm half stupid, so
yeah,
that's why I
yeah,
can't read David. So
yeah. I mean, it's something that does help. It would take it would take down the pH and kind of neutralize it a little bit. But if you're rinse, if unless you're using a super hot mix, like the best way to save plants is to rinse it and rinse it and rinse it and rinse it.
dilution is the solution.
Yeah.
So, and I agree 100% on that.
But I mean, to answer his question, it would help, but I don't think it would help enough to do it.
Yeah, and somebody we used a 1.5% mix this weekend. Got some sad looking rose bushes at the end of the day. Rose bushes are something that you definitely got to keep watered.
Right.
Rose bushes and Japanese maples. So
Oh yeah, that's a big one, the Japanese maple, and it's expensive.
yeah, and the thing about the rose bushes, they'll usually bounce back. They will bounce back. The
Oh
Japanese
yeah.
maples, on the other hand, they get all speckled. They don't like the bleach too well. So keep the bleach away from the Japanese maples. Um, uh, um, Donovan, I'm thinking of taking on a 400 single family house neighborhood, but they want a big discount off my normal rates. What are your thoughts and experiences? So I'm going to give you my thoughts and experiences. So we actually did this up in Dayton, Ohio. It was like 150 houses, and what we did it is we did do a big discount rate. So we did it as if you only did one side, we charged you $100, and if we did all four sides, we did 150. And we actually ended up trying to keep it all to one side because when we had to do four sides, we lost our tail on it. But we could park we could park our truck. We could do two or three on this side, go across the street, do two or three more on that side, and then we just kept right on moving. You just got to be careful with it because you can lose your tail on it, especially if they're very big. So that is how I did it. Like I say, I actually had two guys in one truck, so that way they could really pull the hoses and get it going and that kind of thing. But it was something that we did do. Um, can you water too much if it's hot outside? You can kill plants when it's hot. I know because I did it. I've downstreamed my whole career, and I've only killed one time, and I killed everything. It was 103 degrees out, right at 3 o'clock in the daytime. And I know my bleach wasn't that strong, and I'm pretty sure I killed everything because of the water side of things versus the heat.
Yeah, that's actually a great point, especially with it getting hot with the weather changing. You can absolutely put too much water on a plant. What usually happens then is the leaves won't turn brown and die; they just fall off. So if you see that where like a bush, and you get a call from the customer, and it's got all the leaves on the ground, and they're green still, that's because you hit it with too much water.
And I don't like this either. Have you ever wrapped shrubs with plastic drop cloths? I don't do that either because that can actually burn them up. That plastic will heat up on plants and will burn up everything. I've seen that happen. So I personally won't do that. But
I actually got something. What the thing is, the way bleach kills plants, the key is it's okay if bleach lands on it and gets on it. What kills it is the amount of time it sets on it before you rinse it. If say you're cleaning a house and the bleach lands on the plant, you got probably the way I see it is 5 minutes. If the bleach is sitting on there from 5 to 10 minutes, the bleach is going to bust the leaf, the cell walls of the leaf, and that's going to burn everything. It takes bleach a little while to actually work.
gotcha.
So like if you get something like the way I see it's 5 minutes. That way I know I have plenty of time.
If you wet it first, it'll give you more time. Correct.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that is you always wet it first, and then when you clean, if you see it land on a bush or a shrub or whatever, you got 5 minutes to get that rinsed off. And if you do it in 5 minutes, you'll be fine.
Yeah, and that's what I've always taught, and that's why I always said to water, water, water. Especially roof cleaning, you really got to be careful because you are at a stronger mix. And I always tell people, you can never water too much. I always try to, if I have a helper, he's got a garden hose or pressure washer in his hand the whole time and not letting off of it. And it's more so that way we don't make sure that we don't screw stuff up. If it's going down in the drain and it's going out in the yard, that's the only time I've killed stuff other ways. But I've definitely killed a front yard, and it was one of my first ones that I did. It was actually over there behind Union Kroger, and I
Yeah,
didn't put the garden hose down in the gutter and had a
yeah,
nice brown lines out through the yard. So she wasn't too happy about it.
yeah. Same thing happened to me, and it was a house right in the entryway of a subdivision. So that stunk. But yeah, I forgot. Like, I actually didn't know the gutter came out in the middle of the yard. It went underground,
Right.
And the homeowner told me it went off to the woods. Nope, it came out right in the middle of the front yard. Yeah, that wasn't good.
Are there any other super sensitive plants? I know there's another one, but I can't think of it. I know the Japanese maple. There's another one too, but I can't think of what it is.
Hydrangeas.
Hydrangeas. That's it.
There are, yeah, if you get anything on that, you better rinse it immediately.
Yeah, hydrangeas are something that you will kill them fast. You will turn them brown. Are we actually killing them, or are they just going dormant?
It's not, it's really hard to completely kill the plant.
That's
Like you almost have to burn it, all the leaves completely off. So a lot of times it'll just burn the leaves and it'll turn brown. Usually they'll bounce back even bigger and better than they were because what it does, it sends a signal to the plant like it's a drought. So it spends all of its energy growing roots deeper.
gotcha.
So it'll actually come back really nice.
And that's what I've always told customers. I would always tell them, give it 2 or 3 months and let it come back. And most time they're not going to call you back. Unless you just burn everything up and it looks horrible, then you're going to be screwed and you're going to be pulling everything out. And don't let a landscaper get there and say, you killed all these bushes, because it's like he's saying, usually they will come back. 9 times out of 10, they'll go dormant, but they will come back. So
Yeah, it's really hard to completely kill a plant unless it's a hydrangea or a butterfly bush.
what's a
It's kind
butterfly bush? Japanese maple or what?
of actually it's. Do you say what's a butterfly bush?
Yeah.
You have to look it up and get the pictures. I
Okay.
don't really know how I can describe it, but yeah, if once you see it, like those are super easy to kill, like completely.
Jason put, I didn't burn my last customer plants. I incarcerated them big time. Yeah, that sucks. What up, Benjamin Baker? He's sorry I'm late. We're just talking about what kills stuff here now. So, um, um, tell us about all soap and rinse process. But yeah, so that is something we're at 51 minutes. But what is something that you what would you tell a new guy starting out if he could to be successful, of some things he could do to make sure that he has a successful business moving forward?
If I was just starting out, first thing I would try to do is be on time and just be honest. Like if you say you're going to do something, then do it. And like I said before, if you're hired to clean gutters out and you get up there and there's nothing in it,
Right.
just tell them, let them know that, hey, I can't charge you this because I'm not doing anything. And other than that, the before and after pictures and Facebook and LinkedIn. And I post 3 times a week.
3 times a week. Do you try to? Is there any certain days you try to post, or you?
Actually, yeah, there is. That's another great question. The best days for Facebook: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Right in the middle of the week?
Right in the middle of the week. That is by far the best days for Facebook and LinkedIn, for that matter.
Yeah, because I was going to say everybody's at work on those days, aren't they?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Is there a cleaner that won't kill landscaping? Not really, because if it won't kill landscaping, it's probably not going to kill the mold.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's something. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that makes sense because everybody's there. I'm surprised Friday isn't there when everybody's at work trying to go home.
Yeah, that's I mean, you could still get responses, but if you're going to pick, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is by far the prime time.
Do most people message you through Facebook, or do most people go to your website and try to fill something out there?
I get lots of people sending messages on. They'll text me, they'll call, they'll Facebook message, they'll actually message me on LinkedIn. I've had a bunch of people just see my post on LinkedIn and send me a direct message. So it's kind of split all down the middle.
And so, LinkedIn, how much would you say you've done this year through LinkedIn?
Um, 16 to 20,000.
So $20,000, guys, just from posting 3 times a week in on LinkedIn. That's pretty good money.
Yeah. And
That's
it's
not
free.
bad. And that is something that a lot of people don't understand LinkedIn of, and I actually, there's a lot of things you can learn about LinkedIn, and LinkedIn can get you a lot of money, especially if you are going for the commercial side of things. If you're trying to get commercial, you really want to make sure your LinkedIn is up and on. And when you're setting it up, there's things you want to do to set it up. I would tell you to go. I actually just listened to a podcast about this, about LinkedIn, setting up your LinkedIn. If you go to Social Media Examiner, you can go find Mr. Mike. He actually talks about it. He had a guest on about how to set up your LinkedIn thing. So, when we're setting up our LinkedIn, we want to set it up so that people understand why we're setting it up that way. So, I would highly suggest you go check that out to make sure that you set it up properly. Because a lot of times, and it makes sense what he was saying, is a lot of times we set it up of look how great I am, look how great I am. And that's not how we want to set it up. We want to set it up to say, how can I help you? What is your pain point? Because at the end of the day, that's what we're working on, is our customer's pain point. What can we do to make your life easier? That's how we want to set it up. So, just some things that he gave tips on was some stuff that was definitely would be worth your time to go check that podcast out. So,
Yeah, there's also another tip on LinkedIn. Just like people's posts and make a comment. Just say nice things. Like it comes up on your newsfeed, just like Facebook, and just make a comment. And then what you'll notice is your profile views will skyrocket by
yeah,
just getting on people and commenting.
gotcha. Um, Everybody's getting on late tonight. Thank you, Benjamin, for the super chat. I appreciate the $20. Great Facebook tips. Best Google reviews are the ones customers said I told them they didn't need me to do the service. Basically, what you just said. If you don't need it, let them know, and that'll get you a good review. And reviews are worth more than usually what a job is going to be worth at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Um, Mr. Illinois firefighter. He said the city is crazy tonight. Yeah, dude, stay safe out there. You're in Peoria. I'm sure you probably got some craziness going on. I know Cincinnati's got some craziness going on already. So definitely stay safe out there. Um, I'm just trying to read through some chemicals here. Ben, do you separate cell phone for your business or an app with a second number? How do you work
Uh,
your business phone number?
I actually have a business phone number. That's all it's used for is the business, and I have a cell phone that comes to me personally. Yeah, it's something that's got to be completely separate.
Yeah, I agree. How do you price? How do you price and set expectation for customers when organic turns into oxidation and harsh things?
Yeah, that if they're there when you start, it's super easy just to let them know.
Right.
Like if you see the little black circles on the bottom of the gutter, you can tell them, hey, this is all going to come completely off. If you see where it looks like it's been gray spray painted with an airbrush or something, it's all faded. That's usually it's not really oxidation. It's called electrostatic staining.
Gotcha.
But when you see that, it's still possible to get that completely off. But I never set the expectation when I see that it's going to look new.
Right. Jason, is LinkedIn free to sign up? Yes, it is. There is a paid version that you can do. It's pretty expensive paid version, but that gives you some different options of helping. If you want to try to, I don't know, you can do a lot of it for free. If you go check out in the membership, I know you're in there. I did a whole thing on LinkedIn. I'm pretty sure I made it private or public, and kind of what you want to do and how you go through and about it and that kind of stuff. I got a super chat. Thanks, Robert. How much time will a buffer tank give you before your tank before your pump is in danger of overheating, especially 110-gallon buffer tank with an 8-gallon minute? And what about chemical injector bypass? So as long as you don't let it run out of water, you will be fine. and so, 110 gallons is plenty. You will be fine with that. Um, and what was the other part of that question? A chemical injector. It does help you to run a bypass. But it don't. I know. I was going to do some tests where one way or the other, and it's just something that it's just a matter of the bypass and that kind of stuff. So, um, let's see. So you and your wife are grossing how much now, and roughly? He's doing pretty well now.
Is that my question?
That's your question. Yeah, that's your question.
Where I don't really like to talk about finances that much, but I can tell you I'm better off than I ever thought I would be in my life.
You've been
Like
blessed, right?
I'm blessed. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great way to put it. You've been blessed.
Mhm.
I've been blessed here lately too. So, um, but
And that goes back to just doing the right thing. If you do the right thing, your business is going to grow.
yep, that's right. That's right. And if you help people, and you are helping people. People want their property clean. They want, we are sanitizing. We are making things safe. If things are dirty and nasty, they can get slippery, and we can definitely keep things safe and all that kind of thing. So it is something that is for sure that that is that. What's the minimum 8 gallon size buffer tank? I do a 65 gallon and have been fine with it. Thanks for the info, William Brown. He's been blessed here lately too. He's starting to kick it and be good and making a lot more money than he ever thought too. So, um, again, we're gonna get jump off here. I thank you, Ben, for coming out. I appreciate it. Always like seeing people come on here and do great things. I know I didn't put no links out tonight. If you all need anything, let me know. You can go to pressurewashhelp.com and you can find all my stuff there. Um, I've been getting a lot of people trying to get into pressure washing and that are having tough times and that kind of thing. And getting those emails, um, you know, get you a Guyman pole. And I know it's hard times. Again, I have lots of videos out on my YouTube channel, so you can go check it out, or you can go to pressurewashhelp.com/training, and I got all my training stuff there. Again, Ben, I thank you and appreciate you coming out and teaching us some stuff that we didn't know about on the science side of things. And we will, I know you come on, and we'll see you later, guys. Let me let